Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and we are returning to Ultimate General Civil War today. This is part 12, I believe, of my Let's Play of the campaign game from Ultimate General Civil War. So, the campaign game is when you create your own army and you carry it over battle to battle throughout the entire Civil War. Right now, Ultimate General Civil War is in early access, so the war actually only goes up through Antietam. But nonetheless, that's what we're in the middle of. We're playing as the Confederates, as you can see here, and we're currently fighting the Battle of Port Republic, or at least the sort of fictionalized minor battle of Port Republic. It shares very little in common, in my opinion, with the actual battle, but that's fine. These are just the minor battles between the big ones. The next big battle is the Battle of Gaines Mill. We're in the Gaines Mill campaign, and I believe, if memory serves me right, this is the final engagement before Gaines Mill. So right now, we've taken an objective, which is kind of on this hill, and we're facing off against Union troops that are, I wouldn't call it, well, I guess it is a counterattack. They're currently attempting to throw us out of our position. They're a little bit disorganized. There's not a ton of them at the moment. I'm sure more reinforcements will be coming later, but we're trying to deal with the brigades that they have in place. One other thing I will call out as we get further and further from the original release of the game is this is from a live stream that occurred in the first week of the game. So this is actually still footage from the pre-patch version of the early access game. So I know some people sometimes say, well, you know, the Union has so many men and it's relying just on numbers to win. That's been scaled back in recent patches. That's not reflected in this particular version of the game. Although I will say in the historical battles, they do a pretty good job of making the numbers right. So, you know, it may just be the case that the Union historically had more men most of the time. And there you have it. You can see federal reinforcements coming up in the north with General Fremont, and we're going to have to shift to adjust to that. Now, as I said, this was taken from a live stream, so rather than re-narrate everything that I've actually already narrated, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to jump back into the live stream audio, so the audio that I streamed at the time I was recording this, and I will join up with you guys at the end of the battle. But I hope you enjoy the video. Please feel free to let me know your thoughts in the discussion area below, and if you have any feedback, I'm always open to that as well. But with that being said, and with my cavalry charging like the light brigade of old, I will jump back into the gameplay audio. Thanks again, guys. Now pull back. Did their job. We found 2 enemy brigades on our flank as well as some artillery, so I am moving these 2 brigades in. One will stay in the woods to kind of guard, to have a better position. One's going to be kind of exposed, unfortunately. I think I'll also deploy some skirmishers off here and send them over toward this bridge where the enemy's going to cross. They're definitely going to be coming in behind us. Fortunately, the bulk of our forces have already beaten the Federals to their front, so really it's just a matter of turning around and shooting at the enemy. It's not like we shouldn't be caught between 2 enemies. With the exception of this one Federal brigade down here. I should actually move my wagons closer, though. So there you have it. Bartow's in decent cover. Widow's not. Or not Widows. I don't even know the name. Whatever this skirmisher unit is. Move the cavalry back behind our lines. Can't believe Tyler's standing there. There you go. I was going to say, we had a whole brigade astride his flank. Reed's almost got in range. Should fall back a little bit. These guys have to charge up this hill, but the outnumber is 2 to 1. Oh, they're going to stay there. Okay. We've got the high ground. They've got the woods. I have a sense the woods are better covered. Yeah, jeez. Holy cow. Alright, let's fall back. I should have waited for that volley to be delivered. The nice thing is with the fallback button, I could have manually said, okay, run this direction, but with the fallback button, I prevent us from turning their backs to the Federals, and thereby, prevent myself from being flanked from the rear. Okay, so these Federals have pulled back. Tyler does look like he's reformed a bit. We're going to bring some of our troops here and shift our lines a bit to deal with the oncoming Federal threat. It doesn't seem too bad, though. It's only a couple of brigades. We're holding pretty steady. Reed's not doing great, though. Well, we've got another big brigade coming, though. Move the Foreign Legion over here to the flank. I know people criticize me a lot for running a lot, but I just don't have patience sometimes. So I'll tell these guys to run, they'll get all tired, and then they won't fight as well. Okay. Reed's broken, so we're going to move the CSA regulars in. We'll run them into position. They're in perfect shape, so... I wonder how cavalry charges into charging infantry. I guess we'll see. Charging down the hill into a block of enemy infantry. There you go! That actually kind of worked. Granted, the other two brigades firing volley after volley into them might have had something to do with it. And they're also caught... Uh-oh. Okay. Please get out of there alive. I don't want that unit to get destroyed. I don't really want you guys to charge. I just want you to shoot a volley at them. Or not. There you go. I feel like right-clicking gives the enemy commander a little bit too much autonomy. It seems like they have a tendency to charge when you don't really want them to. Although that wouldn't exactly be out of keeping with the actual Civil War now. Stonewall's brigade's getting chewed up pretty bad. Carroll's kind of starting to come out of cover a little bit. Man, he's doing well, and that, I think his weapons have something to do with it. Kind of reformed, so we were pushed back a little bit, but we've reformed in these woods. Who's this artillery firing at? Let's move this artillery up here. There'll be more use helping versus these guys. Let's see. How are we doing ammo-wise? Move these guys in here a bit. So you got to keep this, as we've mentioned in previous videos, this ammo wagon as the circumference, and if a unit is inside that circumference, they will resupply, and if they're not, they won't. Why aren't they shooting a frickin' volley? The enemy's firing organized volleys into them, and they're not. I don't understand that. Okay, so now we've got infantry in the woods with artillery to their flank providing fire support. So that should make their job a lot easier. Yikes. We're losing way too many men. That's the problem with this game, is you almost get stuck in a fatal funnel where you spend all of your resources in these minor battles recouping against your losses, so you're basically spending all of your money and then some to replenish your losses, and then you never build up your force to be large enough so that when you get in a major battle, which is coming next at Gaines Mill, you don't have the multiple corps necessary to actually win. That may be flanked, but they're actually okay. There you go. How's our artillery doing? And the Federals have no such problems with carryover casualties because they get a fixed OOB at the start of every battle. It's almost like they're crossing that ford in like a Napoleonic column formation. Your best bet is to husband your resources and not engage units in combat unless you absolutely need to. The perfect example was that one convoy raid where we had to raid an enemy's supply convoy, and we took one and then we immediately pulled out and we lost like 200 men and got the full benefits of a victory without, you know, any of the heartache of actually having to fight a serious engagement. The problem is most of these are hold your position against overwhelming odds, so you don't really have that chance. I have not ever played Total War Fall of the Samurai. Stonewall Brigade is doing damn well, though. They have lost almost 400 men, but they're hanging in there. I don't know if they, I'm going to try and see if we can seize these guns. There's 300 men guarding them. Seems like an awfully large artillery battery. Or they're going to just stop there. Yep, I guess I don't want to cross the river. Well, we don't have time. They won't get there in time anyway. Actually, we can continue fighting, so we could do that. Let's see here. Because again, the reason I'm actually doing this is the hope of being able to capture some of these guns and then resell them for a profit. Although, having horsemen charge into canister fire will quickly negate any advantages there, because I'll have to rebuild the whole regiment. Yep, and that's exactly what I have to do, because they all run away now. Alright, finish the battle. Victory. We lost 3,000 men, 500 cavalry. They lost 5,000 men and 13 guns. We lost 4 guns. Units don't really care. Promotions. Looks like Turner Hill Garnett, that's our character, gets promoted to Major General. Andre Battle, Morrison, and Palmer all promoted. Goods, we seized 744 more Springfields. Nice. And 49 Hunters and 2 12-pound Napoleons. Those Napoleons are very good guns, so that'll come in handy. Okay, so we get $94,000, which won't be enough to replenish our losses. Just using it as an example, if we were to put veterans in here, it would cost $34,000 just to replace Jackson's losses. Or not Jackson's, but the Stonewall Brigade. They're our best brigade with our best guns, so we're going to do veterans for them. But that's just sort of an example of the challenge that we're going to be facing. Pratt has Lorenz's. He's got a very good setup as well. We'll use veterans for him. Bartow didn't lose much, so we can do that for him. The Orphan Brigade, sure. The Iron Brigade as well didn't lose much, actually. Surprisingly, we actually didn't lose quite as many men as I thought we would. Now we have 2 Napoleons in the armory, so I'm going to add 2 more guns. Why is it? Oh yeah, okay, so the 2 guns are free because they're in the armory. So now I have an 18-gun battery there. And I think that was because of my charge on those pieces at the end. I could be wrong on that one. Let's see here. Springfields. Can you combine? What I wonder is, can you combine brigades to like max one out? So can we? Okay, that's great. Don't care. Can we combine you? No. It'd be really nice if I could merge two brigades. Damn you. Alright, what if we go with rookies? We don't have enough guns. We don't have enough Springfield 1842s. We only have 200 of them. Damn. You know, the solution... Even a rookie, we can't afford that. Shucks. Alright, so real quick, we'll go back into career. We'll worry about some of this a little bit later. Politics gives you recruits and gold. Economy gives you cheaper weapons. So I think we'll go with that.
Yes, sir.
Armory. We'll sell these things for whatever that's worth. No, we may want those to form a new cavalry unit. We actually probably should form a new cavalry unit. We can use existing weapons to equip them. So that should be more or less almost free for that, because we've got the Colts that we recovered from our own troops. And actually, that gives us an ability to have 300 for free, almost free. Okay, so 300 cav. Got 7,000 left. And a handful of understrength units. Upgrade. Go back to my character. So you're saying I can upgrade the core as a whole. I don't see any options to click on anything. I can change to Robert Ransom, but I don't see... Oh, I can give another perk. Okay, so we can either add... Well, we've already chosen trainer, right? So we can add the perk of artillery, which gives better accuracy, lower reload times, and +5 guns. I don't know what that means. Better infantry, or better cavalry. I think artillery is the way to go for the core. I'm a little bit OCD, so I like to see, you know, even numbers of guns. Can we actually get 18 guns all across? Yes, we can. So I just spent a whole bunch of money to just get even numbers of guns. Rookies. Let's see what we can do. 244. So we'll at least max these guys out. I know they're rookies, but it's an experienced brigade. You don't lose too much by just adding 200, and we've got 200 of these in the armory. So we'll do that. We don't really have anything in the armory for other weapons. We'd have to buy it, and we don't have money for that. So we're kind of stuck with these guys' weapons. Kind of stuck with everybody at the moment. And we don't have... We do have weapons in the shop. How much would it cost to... Even as rookies, it would cost almost 20,000. So there's not really any sense in disbanding our skirmishers and maybe salvaging the money there. I really think this is about what we're going to have, is we're going to have 15,000 infantry, 54 guns and 300 cavalry, and two corps. Well, 18,000 if you include the second corps. 18,000 infantry, 1,300 artillery, and 300 cavalry, but I don't think there's any way that's going to be enough for the Battle of Gaines Mill. Okay, Well, you can see here, if we do win the Battle of Gaines Mill, we get a butt ton of money, 176,000, so more than double what we just got for that last battle, which would go a long way toward allowing us to get our forces in good shape. The problem is, with our reputation at 23, if we do lose, we will be fired. If we look at the governing option, we have 3 reputation points to spend, but we can't buy anything with just 3 points. Apparently you can also use reputation to get bonus money and personnel, which would be nice as well, but we don't have that to spend. We will have some if we win, but this is the Battle of Gaines Mills. So, quick summary. General McClellan landed his army on the York-James Peninsula in the spring of 1862. The idea was to outflank the main Union or Confederate army in the northern portion of Virginia, which had strong fortifications. Rather than attack it head-on, McClellan decided to go around and flank them and land on the peninsula. It seems to be an American tradition, whether it's Winfield Scott in the Mexican-American War, landing on the Yucatan, or I think it was the Yucatan, I think it was actually Veracruz. Or whether it was, General MacArthur island hopping or landings at Anzio. Attempting to outflank the enemy by sea seems to be an American trait. McClellan embodied it, but then after he landed, he took a month to begin advancing because he wanted to bring up siege guns. So the lightning campaign ground to a halt because, well, you don't really surprise people for a full month. Anyway, he ended up advancing. General Joseph E. Johnston retreated with the army of, I don't know if it was Northern Virginia at the time or if it was still the Army of the Potomac, the Confederate Army, until Johnston was right in front of Richmond, at which point he finally gave battle, was wounded, removed from command, and General Davis put Robert E. Lee in command. Robert E. Lee then caught McClellan with half of his army on the southern half of the Chickahominy River and the other half of the army on the northern half of the Chickahominy River, and took the largest army the Confederates would ever have, more than 80,000 troops, and launched it in a series of vicious attacks against McClellan's northern wing of his army in an attempt to destroy 1/3 of McClellan's army. That's how much was on the northern bank. It was the smaller part of the army. And then hoping that would even the odds so he could then fight the Army of the Potomac in sort of a final battle of apocalypse, or at the very least it would force the Union to withdraw. The battles in general were horribly coordinated, horribly executed. General Jackson embarrassed himself. He was so exhausted from the Valley campaign, which had taken place previously. General Longstreet performed reasonably well. D.H. Hill performed reasonably well, some other Confederate commanders. But at the end of the day, the only victory the Confederates had in the entire campaign, or in the entire 7 days of fighting, the only unqualified success was the Battle of Gaines Mill, where Lee sent his entire force into action against the Union Corps under Fitzjohn Porter, who was pushed back late in the day. His lines were broken, but it was too late in the day to really exploit it. And by the next day, the battles continued, but the Union were able to reform, and eventually the Battle of Malvern Hill happened, where the Confederates continued their attacks up a long, slow, gentle hill that the Union had arrayed a massive force of artillery behind. With that being said, that's Gaines Mill. So let's go ahead and fight the battle. Alright guys, I'm going to jump in before we actually get to the Battle of Gaines Mill, and thank you for watching once again, but I'm actually going to go ahead and cut this stream off. I tend to try and keep the streams around 30 minutes, although I found with the Ultimate General games, sometimes it makes more sense to make your videos, unless the battle is really, really long, it makes sense to kind of just have the battle all covered in one video, and I don't like chopping battles in between as I did at the start of this video. So what I'm going to do is, we're about 24 minutes in, I'm going to go ahead and end this, not the stream, but I'm going to end the video here, and then we'll pick up with Gaines Mill in our next video. That one will be a little bit long. That battle ended up taking about 45 minutes, so I'm going to put it all into one stream, but or one video. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the victory of Port Republic, my reforming of the army, a little bit of history about the Battle of Gaines Mill, which we're about to witness. And once again, I hope you enjoyed the gameplay. If you guys have any thoughts, any comments, any feedback, anything you'd like to see done differently, anything you'd like me to cover that I'm not doing right now, please feel free to leave some comments below. I'm open to feedback. I love hearing from you guys. One of my favorite things to do is kind of get into the chat, talk to you guys about things, whether it's about the Civil War specifically, or whether it's about the game, or whatever you want to talk about. As long as you keep it respectful, I love conversation. So please feel free to leave it in the discussion below. But with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.